as I said, marketing and sales directly tie together. They feed into the number like Dinesh was talking about. So Michael Moss here is going to talk about our marketing, our sales training. And I'll turn it over to him.
Hello, guys. Now you get to hear a different voice. I'm almost going to completely forget this for a little bit. I'm going to tell you, tying into what Michael was just talking about. When we talk about sales, there's an old expression in sales, and that's that your tangibles create your sales, but it's your intangibles that you close on. So what does that mean? Well, we were talking about, Michael was talking about customer service and the percentage of people that buy something because of the customer service. And I don't know how many of you are in B2B businesses versus B2C, but it's even higher in B2B businesses. You have to be able to close on the intangibles. So what are the intangibles? Well, we know what the tangibles are, right? They're things like price, they're things like quality of materials or goods, or the services that you're providing that a lot of these people are going to be talking about today. But the intangibles are things like the quality of the service and the customer service that we talk about, that your salespeople have to be able to exhibit and follow through with. My very first sales job was with a company called Trust Company Bank back in Atlanta, Georgia. Now they're SunTrust Bank. At the time, I went into their automobile finance and leasing division. So we would go to different dealerships, you know, the Ford dealership or a Chevy dealership or whatever. And we'd have to go see the F&I guy, you know, the guy who actually sits down there with you and does the contracts, right? And we'd have to talk to them about, even though you're a Chevy dealership, and even though you can get a great deal with GMAC, to put people on the GMAC contract for an automobile loan or an automobile lease, we want you to use Trust Company Bank. Now our rates were just somewhat comparable to GMAC. So how were we able to build our business from the time that I went in there, where we were doing $2 million a month in sales, to $15 million a month in sales in just a little over 12 months? And it was simple. We started implementing the intangibles. We started looking at the service, the customer service side of it, as a salesperson. We walked into those stores, those different facilities, solution-based, not problem-based. I'm here to present a solution to your problem. We're going to do things differently. I was talking, I give a webinar every week for one of the companies that I work with, and I was explaining that you have to sometimes throw up a little flair when you're doing your sales that gets the attention of the customer. If you're doing what we call, let's say, a balance sheet close, where you're talking about, let me tell you first, you know, all the good things about the competitor and what he does, so forth and so on, his price, so forth and so on, but that's not how we operate. It immediately gets the attention of the potential client, so that I could then tell them what it is that I do. Like a balance sheet, right? First I show the positives and negatives of them, and then the positive and negatives of us. But the positive and negatives of us have to end up with how good my service is and what it is that we do. And that's one of the things that we implement. When we come into a company, what we do with Business Intelligence 101 is we come into a company and we're going to sit down, starting with the CEO, the CFO, and who's ever in charge of marketing, and we're not going to try to dismiss them. We're not going to get rid of the VP of sales. We're not going to get rid of the marketing guy. What we're going to do is we're going to infuse new opportunities, new ways to look at what they're doing so that they can actually grow, whether it be through new verticals, new techniques, new protocols that need to be set up, new opportunities for them to make money, doing things slightly different. I remember I went into an instant drug testing company. They sold instant drug testing packages. You know, they'd send them to everything from recovery houses to big, there's a place in Texas called Recovery Ranch, places all over the country. Okay? It was a nationwide company. They were middlemen. They weren't even the manufacturer. The average salesperson was doing anywhere from $30,000 a month to, on a good month, maybe $50,000. And they fought me because I didn't understand their business, is what the salespeople kept telling us. But I went in and started off with the CEO and the head of operations and got them to buy into what it was that needed to be done there. Because they realized that they knew how to start a company, but now that they had a company and it was successful, they didn't know how to make it grow. And within 6 months, their top salesperson was doing between 120, now he's doing between 120 and $150,000 a month. By just implementing certain things, certain protocols, certain techniques. We deal with, because of the marketing, because of what we do here, is that we're dealing with a transformational time right now. Everything's transforming. Everything's getting lighter, leaner, cleaner. But if you still focus on just price, you're selling yourself way short. And what we do is we allow you to forget about price, hold your margins, and show how you can actually close people in sales in a manner that's going to make them feel comfortable.